I want you to try something for me, just for a second. Visualize a place.
Okay.
It can be anything. Maybe it's I don't know, a neon-lit city floating in the clouds. Or a detective's office made entirely of chocolate. You got it.
Okay, I'm picturing the chocolate office. It's messy.
Perfect. Now, usually if you type that into an AI, you'd get a picture, right? A static image.
Or maybe a paragraph of text.
Exactly, describing the smell of cocoa. But imagine if you hit enter, and instead of getting a file back, you were instantly inside that thought.
Hmm.
You aren't watching a video. You aren't looking at a 3D model. You are standing on the chocolate floor. You walk forward, and the room generates under your feet. You turn left, and a hallway just it generates around the corner.
In real time.
In real time, path by path, right in front of your eyes.
That sounds like the holodeck from Star Trek. Or, I don't know, like a lucid dream.
It does, but here's the kicker. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is the premise of a very real, very new release from Google DeepMind. We are talking about Project Genie. It literally launched today, January 29th, 2026.
For Google AI Ultra subscribers in the US, yeah. And judging by my timeline, the buzz is just, it's electric. People losing their minds.
They really are. But you know us. We aren't here to just hype up a product launch.
No.
Our mission for this deep dive is to cut through that noise. We need to figure out, is this just a cool tech demo? A fancier way to make video games?
Or is it something more? Are we looking at a fundamental shift in how AI simulates reality?
I think that's the right question.
Because I've been digging through the release notes, and specifically this really detailed breakdown from an early tester, EJDev.
Right, we have that source.
And the first thing you realize is that this isn't just a chatbot for graphics.
It feels different.
It's a totally different beast. And to understand why, we have to look at the terminology they're using.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if you've been following the AI boom, you're used to LLMs, large language models. You ask a question, it predicts the next word.
Exactly. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, at their core, they're text predictors. They understand the statistical relationship between words. If I say, the cat sat on the...
The AI knows the next word is probably Matt.
It's just math disguised as language.
But Project Genie is pitched as a world model.
Yes.
That just sounds significantly heavier. What does that actually mean in plain English?
So a world model isn't predicting the next word. It's predicting the next frame of reality. It's trying to understand physics, spatial relationships, cause and effect.
So instead of knowing the word ball follows drop, it knows that a visual ball should move downwards when you let go of it.
Precisely. It's simulating existence. When you use Genie, you type a prompt or you upload an image, and it builds this world you can walk through.
Okay.
But the key distinction, and this is what blows my mind, is that it generates the path ahead of you as you move.
It's not pre-rendered.
No. It's not rendering a whole level at once like a video game engine. It's dreaming the world into existence one step ahead of your character.
That is conceptually so heavy. It's almost like, quantum mechanics. The world doesn't exist until you observe it.
That's actually a great analogy. It's only rendering what is relevant to your perspective.
Now, to pull this off, the tech stack under the hood has to be just insane.
Oh, it is.
I was looking at the breakdown, and it seems like they didn't just use one AI brain. They assembled a sort of super team of models.
They did. It's a stack of 3 distinct models working together, and honestly, you really need all 3 to make this illusion hold.
Okay, what are they?
First, you have Gen 3. That is DeepMind's specific world model engine. That's the heavy hitter.
That's the engine room, the one doing the physics.
Right. That's the brain that knows gravity exists. Then you have Gemini, which we all know.
The language model.
That's the connective tissue. It understands your prompts and translates them into instructions the other models can use.
And then there's the third one, and I have to say, I had to double-check the notes on this. I thought it was a typo.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Nano Banana Pro.
Yes, Nano Banana Pro.
I mean, come on. We have Gen 3, very sci-fi. We have Gemini, mythological, serious. And then Nano Banana Pro?
Look, AI researchers are nerds at heart. They have the sense of humor.
Clearly.
But don't let the name fool you.
Yeah.
Nano Banana Pro is doing some serious heavy lifting. It's used for image generation, for creating the visual previews of the world before you jump in.
So it's the artist of the group.
Exactly. Think of it like a concept artist on a movie set. Before they build the massive, expensive set, the artist sketches it out really fast to see if the vibe is right. That's nano banana.
So you have the artist, the translator, and the physicist.
Right. And the combination of those three is what leads to what our sources are calling a completely different category of AI.
And that category is important. It moves the goalpost. It's no longer, does the AI know the answer to my question?
It's, can the AI simulate a coherent reality?
Which is a much harder test. Okay, so that's the theory. That's the what. But I want to get into the how. If I'm sitting at my computer right now, I launch Project Genie. What am I actually doing?
Well, thanks to the breakdown from EJ Dev, who got hands-on time, we know the process is surprisingly structured. They call it world sketching.
World sketching. I like that. It sounds accessible, less like coding.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
It starts with the basics. You input text or an image. Then you have to pick an avatar, a character.
And that's flexible.
Incredibly flexible. It could be a person, an animal, an object, even a vehicle.
So my earlier thought, I could technically be a toaster exploring a rainforest.
If that's your vibe, yes, theoretically. You also choose how you move, walking, flying, driving.
Yeah.
That sets up the physics of your interaction.
Okay, so I've got my toaster, I've got my rainforest, but how much control do I really have? Is it just make me a forest and hope for the best?
No, this is where it gets granular. This is the fine-tuning step. You can describe the environment with really detailed prompts.
The details matter.
They matter a lot. The advice from early testers is to add a diverse set of objects.
Give me an example.
Well, if you just say forest, it might be bland, generic trees. But if you say ancient redwood forest with glowing blue mushrooms, dense fog, scattered stone ruins, and fireflies, the model has much more to work with.
It creates texture.
It does. You also choose your point of view. First person.
Through the toaster slots, in my case.
Or third person, watching from behind like in a video game.
And does it just instantly render the whole thing? Do I hit enter and bam, I'm in?
Not quite.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really smart design choice. There's an intermediate step called the sketch phase. This is where Nano Banana Pro shines.
The artist.
Right. You hit create sketch, and it generates a static visual preview, like a storyboard.
That makes a lot of sense. Generating the full simulation must burn a ton of computing power.
A ton. So you don't want to waste that on a world that looks wrong. It's a measure twice, cut once approach. EJ gave a great example of this.
What'd they do?
They were creating a landscape and realized it looked empty. So they didn't restart. They just modified the prompt to add a small house with a fence in the foreground and mountains in the distance.
And the sketch updates on the fly.
Instantly. You tweak the text, the sketch changes. Once you look at that static image and say, yes, that's it, then you hit create world.
And that's the magic moment.
That's the drop. You go from looking at the picture to being inside the picture.
Any world you can imagine, that's the promise.
But I have to pivot here, because usually when Google deploys massive resources like this, they aren't doing it just so I can role play as a toaster.
No, they usually have a bigger agenda.
Right. So why are they doing this? What is the strategic play?
You've hit on the most important question, and the answer is 3 letters. AGI.
Artificial General Intelligence.
The Holy Grail. The AI that can think like a human.
Right.
The sources make it very clear that Google frames Project Genie as a critical part of their AGI mission. And their thesis is fascinating. They're arguing you can't build a truly intelligent mind just by reading text, which is a direct shot at companies like OpenAI or Anthropic.
It's a huge shot. Their whole bet is on language. Google's argument is, true intelligence needs to understand the physical world. It needs physics, interactions, cause and effect. Think about a toddler.
Okay, I'm picturing a toddler causing chaos.
Right. But how do they do it? Before a toddler learns to speak, they drop a spoon off the high chair.
Over and over.
They throw a ball. They bump into walls. They are testing the system. They are learning gravity, solidity, momentum. They are building a world model in their own brain.
So if an AI can write a sonnet but doesn't understand what happens when a glass of water tips over, is it really intelligent?
Google says no. Or at least it's not generally intelligent. It's just a really good autocomplete. It lacks grounding in reality.
That connects back to the team behind this, right? This isn't the chatbot team.
No. This is DeepMind. The pedigree is crucial. This is the same team that built AlphaGo and AlphaFold. These aren't language people. They are simulation people.
So while we see a cool toy, they see a gymnasium, a training ground for an AI to learn how reality works without a robot body.
That's the bigger picture. LLMs understand how words relate to words. World models understand how objects relate to objects. It's a fundamental shift.
It's huge. It's actually terrifyingly smart. But getting back to the user experience, because I'm still stuck on the fun part, there was one feature the source is called the sleeper feature, the one that might be the most underrated part of this.
Yes. World remixing.
Remixing. Tell me about that.
The idea is that you don't always have to start from a blank page. You could take a world someone else has built and just modify it.
So if you built that mountain retreat, I could just take it and change the vibe.
Exactly. You could take a meadow world, keep the layout, but use natural language to change the season to winter, or change the time of day, or swap the character to a wolf.
That changes the dynamic completely. It stops being a solitary tool.
And starts looking like a platform, like Roblox for Minecraft, but for AI generation.
That's the word.
EJDev, the source, specifically speculates on this turning into a world store or a community gallery. Imagine an ecosystem where people are building on top of each other's creations.
It's a compounding effect of creativity. I build the foundation, you add the architecture, someone else adds the lighting.
And you get something none of you could have built alone. And because it's AI, you just use words. It democratizes world building.
It's a collaborative layer for reality generation. Fascinating.
Yeah.
But, okay, we're hyped.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the AGI mission, the tech, the remixing, but we have to be realistic. This is the deep dive, not a Google press release.
We need to look at the flaws.
Exactly. What is broken? What's the catch? Because there's always a catch.
So to their credit, Google was unusually transparent about the flaws. And there's one massive, glaring limitation. The elephant in the room.
The timer.
The timer. Currently, worlds in Project Genie last only 60 seconds.
60 seconds. 1 minute.
That's it. You create this beautiful, infinite, playable world, and you can only exist in it for 1 minute.
That is incredibly short. I mean, you can barely look around. What does that tell us about the tech?
It tells us the processing power required to generate reality in real time is absolutely immense. We are talking about melting GPU levels of compute.
So they're capping it because the cost would be astronomical.
It has to be. It's a sprint, not a marathon.
Right.
It's a proof of concept.
And it's not just the time limit, right? There are glitches.
Oh yeah, quite a few. This is not a polished PlayStation game. The physics aren't always reliable. Things might float. You might walk through a wall.
Dreamy, but in a nightmare logic kind of way.
Sometimes, yeah. And the prompts don't always stick. You might ask for a red sports car and get a blue sedan.
And the controls.
They feel laggy and unresponsive. It's not a crisp 60 frames per second experience yet.
And what about the missing features? I remember back in August, they teased dynamic events.
Yes, they showed a storm rolling in, a bridge collapsing. Those things seem to be absent in this release. It's much more static.
So, the verdict.
It's a research prototype. It is explicitly labeled labs. You are a beta tester, not a consumer.
And that brings up the risk, doesn't it? The dreaded Google graveyard.
It's a valid concern. Google has a history of launching incredible, promising experiments.
Like Google Glass or Stadia. Stadia is a great comparison.
It is. That was also about streaming. Massive tech. It worked great. And they killed it.
Because the business model didn't scale.
Exactly. If they can ship Project Genie for real with longer sessions and better physics, it's a game changer. It changes entertainment forever. But if it stays in labs, because it's too expensive, it might just be another interesting footnote.
So we have this incredible potential versus the reality of a 60-second timer and laggy controls.
It's a classic early adopter dilemma. But even with the flaws, just the fact that it exists is a milestone.
Right.
The fact that we are generating interactive video on the fly, that's 0 to 1 innovation.
So what does this all mean for us, for you listening right now? Why should you care about a 60-second buggy demo?
I think it asks us to reconsider our relationship with media. Until now, media has been about consuming static artifacts. We read a book someone wrote, we watch a movie someone filmed.
Even in video games, we are exploring a level that a designer handcrafted. The designer decided where the tree goes.
Exactly. We are just rats in their maze, essentially. Project Genie suggests a future where the media we consume is generated for us, in the moment. It blurs the line between reading a story and physically walking through it.
It's moving from telling to showing to being.
Being is the right word. It's experiential generation.
And that leads me to something I want to leave you with today. We talked about that remix feature and generating your own perfect world. If we really are moving toward a future where anyone can generate a photorealistic world in seconds, what happens to the concept of shared reality?
That's a profound question.
Think about it. Right now, we all walk down the same street, see the same sky. If I watch a movie, you can watch the same one, and we can talk about it.
We have a common reference point.
But if you can edit the world to be a medieval fantasy, and I edit it to be a cyberpunk dystopia, and we're both just walking through our own private simulations, did you lose the common ground that makes us a society?
Or do we gain a new way to understand each other's internal worlds? If I can invite you into my dream world, maybe you understand me better than you ever could through conversation. It cuts both ways.
It definitely does. Are we building bridges or are we building the ultimate echo chambers? That is something worth chewing on while you wait for your 60-second world to render.
Absolutely. It's going to be a wild ride.
That's it for this deep dive into Project Genie. Thanks for exploring this brave new world with us.
See you next time.